So I'm having a similar meal today as I had yesterday-ish. I'm just going to take my pepper or it'll blow away because it did earlier. I had it on the spoon, I'd set it out, and then I came back and there was nothing on the spoon. It's a bit greasy. Anyway, and I'm going to take this is how much ginger juice that I drink in the morning. I'm just taking ginger and the turmeric today to show you how much ginger I'm up to. And the turmeric's just powder, so you can just see it on top. So I'm giving James the same amount. This is how much we've been taking. Oh, and this is just, it's not olives, it's greens powder with almond milk, and I just shake it up in the jar. It's easier that way. That's how I used to drink everything. I'd even, my immunity, I noticed it wasn't great, and so, like way back when I was about 20, I noticed I had troubles with that. So I started trying all sorts of things to, like I wouldn't touch things when I was out, and I'd try to do things like I'd eat a lot of almonds, and in my teens I used to just eat them by the handfuls. Just I'd keep them in my pocket or in a bag I'd carry around, and I'd just eat them. And I really wasn't concerned about hygiene or anything like that. Like I'd keep them in with my wallet and whatever. And then all of a sudden I started having trouble. So then I started doing things like I'd keep almonds in a jar or whatever in a jar, and people thought that was funny because I'd just kind of drink it back and then chomp. So I wouldn't touch anything I was eating while I was out. So the food is spiralized butternut squash and bromano beans, and that was just cooked in red wine vinegar, which is my cherry wine. So it's not regular red wine vinegar, I make cherry wine, and it's still pretty winey actually. I let it sit for a while, but it seemed to be turning into vinegar really, just wine, which is good. But anyway, the alcohol cooks off. It doesn't really matter, and it tastes delicious. It tastes kind of like cherries a bit, but not too much. Just a kind of florally, kind of nice. Tastes lovely. But I put quite a lot of it, and it kind of changed the colors of my noodles, my spiralized butternut squash. That's okay. This is totally wanting to fall over. But I want to talk about it today, and it's so windy, I don't know if I'll get a chance. I'll put it like this. There. So, maybe I'll eat that in a minute. Or maybe I'll just have a bite of this because this romaine lettuce looks yum. I put a lot of sauerkraut on my plate today. Probably about 3 tablespoons worth, I think. Because I can take way more than that. I'm accustomed to taking a lot of kimchi. And James doesn't take very much, so when I end up trying to eat meals with James, then I eat less of the things that I should probably eat more of, that I would like to eat more of. So anyway, Truth About Cancer, Global Quest, the complete 131 expert interviews, and I think that was 17 DVDs in total. I put them all on hold, so they come in 5 volumes. And this is the first one. Oh, you might be wondering what this is. This is just lemon juice that I put through the juicer. So it's when you put the whole lemon in, then you get everything, the pith and stuff, which helps fight cholesterol. So why not, right? And I also put some honey, about a tablespoon of honey, which turns out not to be nearly enough for James. He really did not like the hot lemon, which is not hot, it's about lukewarm. What I do is I dissolve the honey in the hot water, and then I stir that up. And then I take the juicer and I juice the lemon into the water, which by that point is not hot, and so it turns out not to be very hot. Just nice. It's nice to hold. Anyway, I've only worked my way through. I'm on the 3rd disc right now of this, the 3rd DVD, and it's okay. It started out a lot stronger than, so I'm expecting it to go downhill, and by the time I'm on the 5th disc, I'll be like, oh, this is terrible. But anyway, I like to learn from everyone that I can. And then I'm capable of doing the research on my own and weeding it out from there, right? So, whatever. First, he talked to Dr. Alexandra Niedzwicki, PhD, and Dr. Matthias Rath, MD, in the Netherlands. Alexandra, she was from University of Warsaw, biochem postdoc in molecular biology, cell division, Rockefeller University in New York. Then she went to U of Toronto, Canada, working on aging. Vitamin C, micronutrients, Linus Pauling, Vitamin. It doesn't even want to stay up when it's hooked to the jar. Okay, let's try again. I might have to do this. Yeah, you know what? Okay, I'll try. I'll see how far I get. 1972, war on cancer began. Is this the right approach? End is not in sight, but war continues because of the money made in this war. Chemotoxins also kill, manipulate healthy cells, which make recovery from cancer a miracle. Rather than curing cancer, we're causing more cancer. Disease defined as marketplace business model that uses propaganda to sell the idea that pharma is making progress. No, I don't know. To find a cure for cancer when they are actually just using more cancer. No, causing more cancer. They are an investment industry, make money off patients. They treat only symptoms, not the underlying disease. This is symptom-oriented medicine. Origin of first chemo drug, Spare. Same substance produced for German army in World War I, mustard gas used for mass extermination. A few years later, it turns up as chemo drug. The cancer comes back, fiercer, because immune system is dead. Auschwitz extermination camp. There, Ernst and BASF decided to build the largest industrial plant in wartime Europe called IG Auschwitz, a 50% subsidiary of Bayer, Ernst and BASF. The plant was 8 kilometers long and 2 miles wide. Giant industrial area. Birkenau concentration camp, huge, featured in Schindler's List. Okay, so that's where. Deliberate decision to build camp using slave labor. Without this interest, which put profits over lives, Auschwitz wouldn't have happened. Jew extermination set up 1 year after the slave labor started. Industry sacrificed lives for profit. Doctors tested drugs on prisoners in inhumane conditions in the name of medicine. Profit over life. That's a website to look up. Profit over life. Dr. Matthias Rath says that as a German, He'd been taught nothing of this. He was 35 when he started learning about this independently. I totally want to eat that mango and raspberries right now. I really don't want to be reading this. Pharma companies were financing the Nazi rise to power. There's nothing that these companies won't do if profit is high enough. Head of Bayer, Fitz Timmer, sentenced to 6 years in Nuremberg and returned to a position at Bayer immediately after war. Vitamins are being eliminated after war, and I see it. In most cases, immune systems have been damaged, so micronutrients have limited effectiveness. Chemo is an unethical deception. Every scientist knows it is a huge fraud. They make resources free to public to educate themselves. These two. drrathresearch.org, and you get all the access to all their scientific research and stuff. Synergy, cellular medicine. We need to know how micronutrients work together. When other nutrients are used with vitamin C, less vitamin C is needed, and the effect is better than when only vitamin C is used, even in really high doses. Lysine inhibits collagen digestion, enzyme, and collagen itself. Lysine, like vitamin C, only comes from the diet, not produced by the body. Inflammation is associated with cancer and triggers it. Fight inflammation. 2002, USA Today didn't want to publish micronutrient information, but they did. Vitamin C, lysine, protein, listed and triggered over 100 lawsuits regarding cancer, I guess? I don't know. And opposition. So Dr. Rath took out another page in the paper with the Medical Association director's email address at the bottom of page, and the harassment stopped. So Dr. Rath figured that many public emails resulted thanks to him including that. So education is needed to expose the truth. And the people that are fighting natural treatments and public health, fear of cancer used to manipulate people. I'm not sure about this. I think people expect that cancer is inevitable. MDs want to treat them quickly and appropriately, and so those who die because of cancer are responsible for their own death because they didn't go to the doctor. That's what I think people believe. So they didn't go to the doctor soon enough, or they didn't follow the prescribed treatment exactly. They think it's their own fault, the people who die. So, and the rest of the people just think, oh, well, when it happens to me, I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do, what the doctor tells me to do, and I'm going to live another 50 years because people don't die from cancer anymore. They keep follow the treatment and they keep living. That's what they think, I think. Anyway, they don't believe that the cancer treatments and medical community have the means. They believe that the cancer treatments that the medical community provides has the means to treat them, to cure them, I think. And I don't think that's reasonable a lot of the time. James disagrees with me. So, anyway. So, I mean, yesterday, that lovely cup of strawberries that he had there, he did eat the raspberries, but he didn't touch a single strawberry. And I had to pitch him today. Because the food that we're eating, it's, a lot of the time, it's just on the verge of having to be compost. And I'm very thankful for it. Honestly, I was telling James, he doesn't like me saying things like this. Like when I say, basically we're eating out of a dumpster. And he does not like that. And he did not want me to talk about the fact that we eat from the food bank and stuff like that. He doesn't, we come from, both of our families were middle class, and most people would consider them fundamentalist sort of Christian families. So, there was no way that my family ever would have asked for help. They would not have ever went to the food bank. It just would not have been done. nose to the grindstone and you work your way through it. And you definitely don't talk about stuff like going to the food bank. Anyway, but the fact of the matter is I honestly believe I am eating healthier now. Even eating the rejects from the grocery store that end up coming to the food bank and wherever else I'm getting it. And we're eating healthier now than I ate in my 20s, for sure. No question. I'm eating far more produce. And yes, the vitamin content would be diminished, but would we be able to afford those beautiful organic strawberries if they weren't just borderline ready to be pitched in compost? No, we wouldn't. So I'm very thankful for it. These doctors, his current question, I'll just stop here and I'll go on later. But his question that he's asking everybody in this series, like this is just a bunch of interviews with people, and the question that he keeps asking is, why are there so many children with cancer now? Why is it becoming such a huge problem? If you look, it's not just cancer though. Like, he's looking at it, why is it children with cancer? And he keeps asking everybody, all these people who are experts in their little area in something to do with cancer, right? And they all have a different answer, but a lot of them are thinking it's the toxins in the environment, whatever, and some of them are thinking it's other things. These two thought that it was because children are especially vulnerable to the toxins because they're actively growing. So their cells are reproducing faster or something. I don't know. Because they're actively growing, they're more susceptible to that. And these two really seem to know what they were doing, as does the next guy. But I'm not going to talk about him right now because I'm tired of sitting outside. But the fact of the matter is it's not just cancer. We're seeing children with type 2 diabetes now. Children. That's adult onset diabetes. It's ridiculous. So, anyway,